The nuke kill streak revolutionized Call of Duty and also birthed a whole entire new genre of player. The undisputed hardest kill streak to get has been in most Call of Duty since it was first introduced. However, they all function way differently from each other. From weird prerequisites, random luck, and even some being purchasable, I'm Ornery, and this is the entire history of the nuke kill streak in Call of Duty. I know I learned a lot more than I thought I knew about these kill streaks before making this video, and I bet you will too. But go ahead and comment what game you got your first nuke in down below. Let's go to where it all started, the tactical nuke in Modern Warfare 2. This is potentially the most iconic kill streak in Call of Duty history. This is also the only nuke that has to be manually equipped in your kill streaks to be active. Once equipped, all the player needs to do is get a 25 kill streak and the nuke is theirs. Which may sound hard, but this is actually by far the easiest to get out of all the nukes on this list. The reason for that being is because this is the only nuke that allowed your kill streaks to count towards not only other kill streaks, but the nuke itself. This created a meta where you have the 7 kill streak Harrier to get you to your 11 kill streak chopper gun or AC-130, then have that carry you to your 25 kill streak tactical nuke. Further proving the easy allegations was the fact that noob tubes were completely broken and overpowered, and Danger Close enhanced that. But if you were running noob tube class to get a nuke, Danger Close Pro also enhanced the damage from kill streaks, meaning your AC-130 or chopper gunner would always be buffed during this. Anyways, the nuke would end the game regardless of the score, which not all the nukes on this list were capable of. But to me, this made Modern Warfare 2 so much replayable because this was all I would grind back in the golden age of Call of Duty. It was kind of sad to not see this come to a Treyarch game until way later. It wouldn't be until Modern Warfare 2's sequel MW3 where we would get another nuke-like kill streak, being the MOAB. The MOAB, or Mother of All Bombs, was active for every single player at any given moment, but the only way to earn it was by a 25 kill streak. And that 25 kill streak had to be with all guns, absolutely no kill streaks could be involved. Anyways, this was in the same game that introduced Specialist bonus in the game, and for those that don't know, Specialist was a type of kill streak format that essentially replaced your kill streaks with perks. However, once you got to an 8 kill streak, you got every single perk in the game. So this was obviously the most optimal way to get MOABs, but still exponentially more difficult than the Modern Warfare 2 nuke. As far as the properties of the MOAB and how it differs from the tactical nuke, the biggest one is despite being way more difficult to get than the nuke, it wouldn't end the game. Instead, it leaves this nuclear radiation-like effect on the map, wipes the whole enemy team, and has an EMP effect for the next 60 seconds. And it also gave you and your team double XP for the remainder of the match. I do want to point out one last thing, and that's technically these weren't kill streaks and were actually point streaks, which may not sound like a big deal, but for those that don't know what a point streak is, it's like things like planting a bomb or capturing an objective would count as a point. But also, if you had Hardline Pro, every 2 assists you got would count as a point as well, which to me was actually a huge help of getting a MOAB. I remember several times not even running Specialist and being on a point streak and getting a ton of accidental assists with the Osprey Gunner that would carry me to a MOAB. This is one of the more overlooked nuke streaks that I think has the most going on. The K.E.M Strike was in Ghost and has lots of properties that differentiate from all the other nukes on this list. The biggest one was there was actually more than just one way of getting one. Just like the MOAB, the K.E.M Strike was obtainable through a 25 point streak by any player at any given moment, but I bet a lot of people didn't know that you could get a K.E.M Strike from a care package. Now this was only available on the map Strike Zone, but another really cool effect was that if you got a K.E.M Strike on this map, whether it be from the care package or the 25 point streak, it would actually completely transform the map and create a new terrain for the rest of the game. That being said, this obviously didn't end the game, but still wiped the whole entire enemy team and gave the K.E.M Strike using team a double XP. I also want to mention that every single map in this game had some type of map specific field order that shared the K.E.M Strike logo in a care package. I'll go ahead and mention that here too. Things like playing as Michael Myers or Predator, or calling in a pack of wolves, and even an RNG slot machine effect that would give the map a crazy effect or ability. Maybe being able to get a K.E.M Strike in a care package is a little cheap feeling, but the other K.E.M Strike field orders were a lot of fun, even if they aren't really nukes. The DNA bomb, I would argue, is pretty much the template for all the nuke streaks to come after. In Advanced Warfare, if you got 30 kills, you would get a DNA bomb. Now, notice I said kills and not points. That's because this had to be gun kills, no bomb plants, no objective plants, or even double assists counted towards this. On top of this was in a game that only had score streaks and no specialist bonus or any type of alternative kill streaks would exist, meaning that you had to get a 30 kill streak with no help along the way aside from your traditional kill streaks. DNA bomb wouldn't end the game, but it did leave a green mist after wiping the enemy team that would stay the rest of the match. Moving on to the De-Atomizer Strike in Infinite Warfare, which if I had to pick my least favorite nuke kill streak on this list, it's without a doubt this one. Let me explain. For starters, if you load up into a game and don't have an eligible weapon equipped and you get 25 gun kills without dying, you will not get a nuke. Now, what do I mean by eligible weapon? Well, for those that don't remember, this was during the variants era, and a variant was just a different iteration of a base gun that might have some buffs in some areas or special characteristics, and one of those special perks is nuclear, which allows the player to get the nuke kill streak. Now, I think the kill streak should always be active no matter what, no prerequisite required, but this means you have to get lucky in supply crates to land the gun you want with this perk added. Granted, I think for most guns, maybe if not all of them, you can just level them up naturally and receive a nuke variant. I really don't remember exactly how you unlocked it if you didn't get it in a supply crate, but regardless, such a stupid way of getting the nuke. But once you jump through the hoops of getting the eligible gun, only the kills with that gun count towards the nuke. That means grenades, secondaries, and even melees will not count towards your 25 kill streak for the nuke. 25 gun kills with just that gun is the only kills that will count. The De-Atomizer would also end the game, so I guess that's cool. And I guess since this game also doesn't have specialists and require a specific gun, you could in theory call this the hardest nuke to get, but I still think it's pretty lame. There is a nice quality of life feature in Infinite Warfare where it shows exactly how many kills away you are from the De-Atomizer, but overall, this kill streak sucks. On to World War II, where we have the V2 rockets. Just like Infinite Warfare, we have some prerequisites before you can even think of earning this kill streak. Yeah, I know, pretty lame. Anyways, the way you unlock to get a chance at getting a V2 was by prestiging every single division at least one time. Now, if you played World War II, you would know the division system was probably the worst thing about the game, and being forced to nearly max out every single one was just adding insult to injury at this point. I will say I'll take this over being able to use only one gun that even count towards the kill streak, but still a horrible decision overall. But there was one other way of getting the V2, and that was an infected. I'm not exactly sure how, but if you survive long enough, you would get a care package, and that care package could potentially have a V2 to end the game. That's how I understood it, but I'll be honest, I never played World War II Infected, so please correct me if I'm wrong. The V2 functions similar to a M.O.A.B that it didn't end the game and took 25 kills, not much else to it. Finally, we're back in a game that has specialist. Modern Warfare 19 had a nuke kill streak that was pretty simple. 30 kills without dying, only gun kills with absolutely zero prerequisites or any type of workarounds necessary. On top of this, you could actually get the nuke another way, and that was in Ground War. If you dominated all 5 capture points for a specific amount of time, a DEF CON nuke countdown would start, and if your team held the objectives for that duration, your team would win via a nuke. Also for Ground War, this is where probably getting a nuke was the easiest because you just had way more opportunities for kills that can camp and spawn kill. Fun fact, the nuke wasn't in Cold War at launch and was not only added to the game later, but for a minute there was only available in a specific game mode. I think this kind of proves how reluctant Treyarch was to adding the nuke to their games, because this is also the very first nuke in a Treyarch game. During the 80s action hero event, we got a new mode called Die Hardpoint, which was simply cranked and hardpoint put together. Anyways, in this mode, for whatever reason, if you got a 25 gun kill streak, you would get the nuke kill streak. So this was pretty hard, since in cranked, you would get a timer of 30 seconds after each kill, and if you didn't get a kill within that 30 seconds, you would die. Also in this game mode, the nuke didn't end the game. However, just a month or two later, they added the nuke to the game in all modes excluding ranked. This one was pretty identical to Modern Warfare 19's nuke in that it required 30 gun kills and ended the game. And I'm pretty sure you could actually use the war machine to get kills that counted towards the nuke if I'm not mistaken, which was pretty much the meta for grinding nukes in Cold War. The Vanguard V2 is pretty much exactly the same as the last 2 nukes on this list, requiring 30 gun kills as usual, but there was also a special way of getting the V2 on the Champions Hill game mode, which was actually a pretty decent game mode that's exclusive to Vanguard. It was like a tournament style 2v2 with several teams involved, and you got money to buy upgrades between your rounds as you progressed, but if you saved a whopping $25,000, you were able to simply buy a V2 in between rounds and end the game immediately. I totally had forgotten about this before making this video. Thought these next 2 were necessary to lump together. Requiring a 25 kill streak on Call of Duty Online with nothing but guns, I had a hard time finding any footage for this. And it was all in Mandarin, and also like the Call of Duty wiki gave me a bunch of conflicting information. But I do know that for Call of Duty Mobile, it's only 20 if I'm not mistaken. And there was another prerequisite in that you had to actually be level 20 as well, so another kind of like weak parameter. I figure it's because you probably play against actual bots when you first start out, so they don't want to just hand you a nuke when you get on the game. But nothing crazy going on here, but figured I'd mention them both. I'm lumping MW2 and MW3 together because it is pretty much the exact same kill streak. The MGB requires a 30 gun streak and ends the game just like all the other nukes. But for some reason, MW3, for a very brief time, they replaced the MGB with the DNA bomb. And the DNA bomb in MW3 was a 25 kill streak that wiped the enemy team, left that green gas, but didn't end the game. Then a few weeks later, they returned to the MGB. However, you can still get a DNA bomb in a private match for some reason. I don't know, it seems like a little wishy-washy for me, and it doesn't really make much sense at all. But as of right now on pubs, you can get the MGB, but I don't think you can get the DNA bomb. I was debating on putting the Warzone nuke in here, but since I talk a lot of Warzone on here, I feel like it was necessary. The Champion's Quest was added as a part of Warzone 2 and was a hidden contract you got by winning 5 games in a row, which for starters is extremely difficult and requires a lot of patience. But that's probably the easiest part about this nuke. Once you start the contract, you and your squad have to go on a scavenger hunt to assemble pieces of the nuke scattered across the map, and these elements gave you a negative effect like being shown to everyone on the map, taking random damage, and also like this weird shockwave effect. Anyways, you have to assemble these elements at a designated bomb site in the late game, but then you have to arm and defend that bomb site until it detonates. And then you get some really crazy exclusive rewards that like barely anyone has. There's also a resurgence version of this nuke, which is pretty similar, but even more difficult somehow. I know I've tried this multiple times and it just never goes well. You have to get like the perfect lobby for it. I could go more into detail about the Warzone nuke, but I figure most of you watching this are here for the multiplayer side of things. I do want to leave you with the Warzone nuke is probably one of the greatest things ever added to Warzone. But that is the entire history of the nuke kill streak in Call of Duty. Let me know which one is your favorite and which one was your first nuke. If you want to hear me talk about the forgotten game modes in Call of Duty or the best thing about every Call of Duty, go ahead and click on screen now. Join my Discord if you're feeling crazy, and if you liked, leave a like. If you didn't, leave a dislike, and thank you so much for watching.